Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Thursday, March 11th, 2021. I want you to know that I had a whole nother video prepared for you, about 20 minutes long. I was wearing my shirt and tie. However, YouTube will not process the video. Obviously, there is something in there they don't want you to know. I think I have an idea about what it was, so I will not mention it here, unfortunately. Now, they're playing a game with us, people, everywhere. This is it. This is the new world order. This is a new paradigm and a whole new set of rules. I've been explaining this to you since like forever. Anyway, so yes, if you're seeing this, I finally got it done, my post-market wrap-up on this day. I want to start off with this. I cannot confirm this, but earlier today, I was watching crude oil like I always do. It's going up, 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 like 3%. All of a sudden, I'm like, hold on a minute. Something's up. So I posted on my social networks and Facebook. Did something happen? A new attack? I mean, what's going on here? People started sending me information, and I want to read this to you. I can't confirm this right now, but this is what I got, okay? Washington, Israel has targeted at least a dozen vessels bound for Syria, mostly carrying Iranian oil out of concern that petroleum profits are funding extremism in the Middle East. Okay, I cannot confirm if this is true, but if it is true, 2 days ago, I explained to you, look out for it. Something was going to happen with crude oil because if you remember, Saudi Arabia was attacked by the Houthis, with missiles and drones and a whole bunch of all kinds of nice things. And it only had a temporary effect on crude oil. Well, they won't tolerate that. So whether that story is true or not, I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is that story right there was enough to jawbone crude oil higher. And on the back of that, the stock market, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, and the Russell 2000, all new all-time record highs. Lovely. Of course, what would you expect? Dollar got hit today. Despite that, gold and silver didn't do too much. Silver put on a gain. Gold was flat. Bitcoin, 57,000. That's 30,000 higher than when it bottomed out at 27,000. When I told you that hedge funds were getting in here and buying it, that's what's going on here, people. It's going higher. Bitcoin, the other major cryptos are going higher. That's the story. That's where we sit right now. 10-year yield 1.52. Right here today, a great example of that relationship I always talk about between the dollar and the 10-year yield. The market will tolerate a higher 10-year yield if the dollar stays weak. You understand? This story right here is the one I can't even mention because that's why they won't process my video. I know they won't. I know what it is. I'm not even going to talk about it. This is just the way it is in the new paradigm. Just get used to it, people. It's a sickening thing, but that's where we're at. So anyway, we understand that the European Central Bank is going to vastly inflate their balance sheet. No surprise to you if you follow this blog. I explained to you this would happen. Here we go. They're not going to stop. Federal Reserve, ECB, other world central banks are going to vastly inflate like you have no idea. Just be ready for it, people. There's another story here I wanted to talk to you about. I can't do it, unfortunately, but I do post these things on my Facebook feed. They don't block it. And I post these things on Twitter and in the chat room in my website on my traderschoice.net. So I can't talk about it here, but I do blog about it in other places, okay? But just understand what's happening. You're not being allowed to know what's going on here. So again, I want to address this real quick. So look, I've explained to all of you forever that debts and deficits are going to balloon. Well, let me just read this to you, okay? The Treasury Department states that the U.S. budget deficit has now hit $1 trillion. And again, this is no surprise to you. This is me. No one who follows my work should be surprised here. On this breaking news that the U.S. budget deficit continues to widen to unprecedented levels. Oh, no, no, no. Not going to stop people. It's all part of the mechanism. And right here, a nice article by Wolf Street. I happen to like Wolf Street. They explain to you pretty concisely how the U.S. dollar's purchasing power is literally just going away. It's just going away. And this is causing a bigger problem. I want to talk more about that. I can't cover that story right here. Unfortunately, sorry. Let us move forward. Food prices are rising globally. This is not just a phenomenon here in the United States. And there's in this article here, they're explaining that this is bad for global stability. Look, I don't know what you think, but I hope you understand what's going on here. I really, really, really do, people. Oh, here's another story I can't talk about. Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna kind of leave a few words out here. This is Bloomberg. Bloomberg is saying that because of the current environment we are in, the banks have been secretly getting all the cash that they need directly from the Federal Reserve. Oh, really? Oh, you can't possibly imagine my shock. I'm beyond shocked about that. Now here we go. So our lovely freak show president, how many of you are buying this? Joe Biden is attempting to reverse wealth inequality in America. It's the biggest lie in the history of the world. He couldn't care less about it. He doesn't want to reverse anything. In fact, he is in the act of creating a slave society dependent on government. And the government is not him. It's the banks. You understand? It's this merger between corporate entities and this new American government. And of course, all this new debt. He just signed a $1.9 trillion bill into existence. Where are we getting the cash, Joe? Why don't you tell everybody where it's coming from, Joe? Because you can't. We don't have it. America's broke. Okay, it's coming from the Federal Reserve fulfilling their end game. I think you know that. And this $1.9 trillion, oh yeah, this is just another installment too. But again, ask Joe where he gets this from. Here's a lovely thing I want to discuss with you real quick. On the cover of Market Watch, they have a photograph of a young woman looking down at $41. Like this big smile on her face. She loves the $41. She loves it. So she's looking down at it, and in the background is this twisted picture or background of an American flag merging with the Treasury, merging with the Capitol. So what is this? What is the message here? This is what the modern slave society looks like. A young woman, staring at $41 behind the government that's gonna save her. And the rest of us, people, this is the creation of the two-tier society, like I've explained to you what happened from a decade ago. It's crazy. Let me skim through some of this a little bit more real quick. How U.S. household wealth hits a record of $130 trillion as the top 1% get richer than they've ever been, and everyone else underneath is drowning in debt. Imagine my surprise on that. I'm totally shocked. And just in case you're wondering, Warren Buffett's net worth now surpasses $100 billion. People, let me read this to you. All this, the economic collapse leading to mass unemployment, the wipeout of small businesses and the middle class, the merger of this new government and corporations, the scamdemic, all of it is the deliberate act to create a slave society and a new feudal system for which, yes, I have been warning would come from over a decade ago. I want to read this to you too. Every single Wall Street bank has the same goal. Before I move on, what do you think that goal is? To make money? That's the goal of a Wall Street bank? How about no? The goal of all of these banks is the same. It is to survive. And that is the same for the Federal Reserve. And they will survive at the cost of anything or anyone. So never for a second believe, this is me, I'm reading what I wrote, that a single one of these institutions has the public interest in mind. You understand? I think you get it if you follow this blog. Very enlightening, I think, this particular video blog. I do apologize to you that I am unable to discuss things here with you. YouTube will not allow it. All right, they are screening all of these videos through checks. If you are a person who does this like I do, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They go through every video, they process it, they screen the video, they look for words, phrases, things in the video that they don't want you to know about. This happens to me all the time, especially lately. So unfortunately, I had to redo this video I did for you, which was about twice as long as the one I'm doing right now, because I can't cover certain things. But I urge you, follow me at least on Twitter, okay? And you will see, or in my chat room on my website, traderschoice.net. I post things there that I cannot talk about here because I'm not allowed to do it. You understand? All right, people, look, I'm out of here. I hope this video works. Otherwise, I'm just not going to do one today, and I do apologize for that. Love you. Please share the video.